After falling down the stairs, I pretended to lose my memory. I asked my boyfriend, "Who are you?" But my best friend immediately took his arm and said, "He's my boyfriend." I looked at James, but he avoided my gaze. He didn't deny it. I sneered, "Then who is my boyfriend?" James pointed to the man by the window. My uncle Andrew. 3 years of love had turned into a ridiculous lie. I nodded and said to Andrew, "Take me home." Andrew's house was strange and cold, with no trace of my presence. Yet he claimed I'd always lived there. He was lying. As I scanned the room, I studied my new boyfriend through the spotless window glass. Andrew, James' uncle, CEO of the first consortium. He observed my reaction in silence. I knew he'd never liked me. When I was with James, he'd always treated me coldly. "I'll rest first." My calf still ached. I staggered toward the bedroom. The spotless sheets were as pure as the 3 years of love I'd shared with James. Lying in bed, I couldn't stop thinking about James hugging Amanda intimately in front of me. My phone vibrated. It was a message from Amanda. "Get some rest, James, and I will visit tomorrow." The screen reeked of triumphant territorial marking. I felt sick and got up to get some air on the balcony. As I reached the door, Andrew's voice came from the living room. "Are you sure you want to do this?" "Uncle, just help me this once. Pretend to be her boyfriend for a while. Aren't you afraid she'll regain her memory? If she gets angry, I'll just apologize. She loves me too much to leave, but I'm honestly getting tired of being with her. I want to take a break and spend time with Amanda." "Are you really hooking up with her?" "Come on, Uncle. You know me, I'm just having fun with Amanda. Eve is with you. Don't touch her, but I trust you the most. You've never liked showbiz girls, especially someone as petty as Eve." My nails dug into my palms, the pain spreading to my chest. Tired? Petty? I took a deep breath and deliberately stepped heavily, but my ankle throbbed and I fell to the floor. "Be careful." Andrew hung up and rushed to me. He scooped me into his arms, his cold voice laced with tension I'd never heard before. "I'm just dizzy." Instead of letting go, he carried me to the sofa, his movements too gentle for the ice prince everyone talked about. "Don't move, let me check." His fingertips grazed my ankle, his gaze focused. I smelled the faint cologne on him, completely different from James. Andrew held my ankle softly. I froze. Hadn't I just heard him promise James he'd never touch me? Now this intimacy. Does it still hurt? "I'll get some medicated oil." Andrew looked up at me, his other hand sliding naturally to my cheek. "Your face is so red. Are you feverish?" As he spoke, he leaned in, about to press his forehead to mine. "I'm fine." I tried to pull away, but he held me tight. His fingers brushed my stray hair, grazing my earlobe. "Don't be afraid, you just can't remember. We'll take it slow." I looked into his eyes, the cold, ruthless man everyone feared, only to see a tenderness James had never shown me. "Andrew, what game are you playing?" I was a workaholic in the film industry. I worked nonstop 365 days a year. As soon as my leg healed, I went to an audition. Guess who was there? Amanda and James. Crew members and strangers alike sat in the audience, eyeing me like they were waiting for a show when I walked in. "Eve, you're auditioning too?" Amanda asked, feigning surprise before smiling sweetly. "Yeah, what a coincidence." I looked at James. His hand was sliding off Amanda's waist. He avoided my gaze. Amanda was a famous young actress, the annual box office queen who made headlines without trying. Me? I only took challenging roles. I didn't care about fame or money. The audition began. When it was Amanda's turn, she asked James to be her scene partner. The director agreed. Right in front of everyone, Amanda plopped onto James' lap, teasing his shirt buttons with her fingertips and batting her eyes. "You know how long I've waited for this?" She cupped James' face. "I want you now." Then she kissed him. James kissed her back. They made out at the center of the stage, the room holding its breath. Producer sat up straight. My chest tightened, as if an invisible hand were crushing my heart. "So this is what you like?" I remembered our 3 years together. James had always been careful and proper with me. "Eve, you'll be the only one I kiss in my life." His kisses had been so gentle, like I was a treasure. His eyes had only held my reflection. Now, the James clutching Amanda was all urgent desire, as if declaring ownership to the world. 3 years of promises, shattered in this stranger's kiss. I stared numbly. Cut. The director applauded. "Brilliant. The sexual tension is perfect." Producers whispered, nodding in approval. Amanda walked off stage with James, her arm around him. As she passed me, she smiled sweetly, provocatively meeting my gaze. "I think this role is mine, don't you, Eve?" James still had his arm around her, twirling her hair with his fingers. He wouldn't look at me. When my turn came, the room went silent. Everyone looked at James. The atmosphere was thick with unspoken curiosity. Everyone knew about my amnesia, but they stayed silent, like they were waiting for the next act. Who would I choose as my scene partner? I smiled at Andrew, who just entered from the side door. I'll have my boyfriend join me. I beckoned and Andrew strode onto the stage. No one said action, but I was instantly in character. I hooked my finger around Andrew's tie. You said we'd only talk about work? My voice was calm, but my eyes locked onto his, my fingers climbing up his tie. Andrew stared back, his voice low. You broke the rules first. I leaned in, my voice seductive. Rules are meant to be broken, don't you know that? I felt Andrew's body stiffen, his chest rising and falling. He was playing the role of a man torn between resistance and desire. Look at me. I stood on my toes, wrapping my arms around his neck to make him look down. Tell me if you want me. Andrew's eyes darkened, his Adam's apple bobbing. I gave him a quick, soft kiss on the lips. His arms hung frozen as he stared at me. I took a step back, feigning panic and shyness. Sorry, I shouldn't have, but Andrew pulled me into his arms and kissed me back. This time, he initiated it. Cut, the director shouted, excited. Incredible. Eve, you nailed the character's innocent sensuality. The way you switched from seduction to shyness? That's the role. I bowed, glancing at James' dark expression from the corner of my eye. Thank you. Director, my boyfriend deserves credit too. I clung to Andrew's arm. It's easier to act naturally with him. Professional actors are different. Andrew added coolly, seduction followed by shyness. That contrast is powerful, much more sophisticated than relying on cheap theatrics. Everyone knew he was talking about Amanda. He took my hand and led me off stage, leaving a stunned silence behind. In the car, Andrew gently buckled my seatbelt. Then he kissed me again. I tried to push him away, but he held me tighter. I love your kisses, Eve, we're getting closer. I stared at him, realizing he had no intention of keeping his promise to his nephew. When I was with James, he'd always mocked us, never showing me kindness. I thought he hated me for being in showbiz and kept my distance. But after my amnesia, he was forced into this intimacy by James' scheme. Auditions were one thing, but now he was being so proactive. You worked hard at the audition, let's get some dessert. Andrew drove me to my favorite dessert shop. After we sat down, he ordered my favorite chocolate pudding. How did you know? I froze. James was allergic to chocolate, so I'd never ordered this when we dated. I only had it alone. Eve, you're my girlfriend. Of course I know what you like. Andrew fed me a spoonful of pudding, smiling softly. I also know your favorite songs and movies. Chocolate's dopamine calmed me, making me forget the painful sight of Amanda and James' kiss during the audition. As we ate, I talked about my new role like we were friends. That's when James walked in with Amanda, arm in arm like the sweetest couple. They were sitting far away and didn't see us, but I watched clearly as Amanda ordered James' favorite drink and fed him cake, just like he'd once done for me. James spoon-fed Amanda, doting on her like he'd doted on me. Clenched my fists, my nails piercing my palms. Andrew frowned and took my hand, wrapping it in his large one. Shall we go? I nodded, glancing at Amanda now sitting on James' lap, smirking at me. Eve! James had been nuzzling Amanda's hair, but he let go immediately when he heard my name. He looked my way, then pretended nothing was wrong. Amanda waved at me. I thought I was mistaken. It really is you two. She'd called out on purpose to make sure I saw their affection. Right now, she bit a strawberry and fed it to James, staring at me. James hesitated, glanced at me, then opened his mouth. Is it good? Amanda giggled and kissed his cheek. James held her, looking at her tenderly, just like he'd looked at me. I watched coldly, my heart splitting. The three of us had come to this dessert shop before. Back then, James and I were dating, and Amanda would always tag along, saying she envied my perfect rich boyfriend. I'd comforted her, saying she'd find someone too. Now she had. We have to go. Andrew took my hand and walked out without looking back. James chased after us. His eyes fell on Andrew's hand holding mine and he looked away. I need to talk to Uncle. Two men went to a corner to smoke, while Amanda went to the restroom to touch up her makeup. Standing upwind, I overheard their conversation. Uncle, you promised not to touch Eve. How could you kiss her? James snapped. What's the problem? Wasn't that just acting? Besides, she has amnesia. Should she cling to her best friend's boyfriend instead of her boyfriend? James fell silent. Whatever. It's just an act. I know you'd never really like Eve, right? Andrew didn't answer, eyeing the hickey on James' neck. Looks like things are moving fast with Amanda. James smiled like he was reliving something delicious. Uncle, you have no idea. Amanda is irresistible, and she's more understanding than Eve, more thoughtful. I don't have to walk on eggshells with her. It's comfortable and fun. Is that so? Then why not make it real? Amanda is more suited to you. As for Eve, you said herself she can be too stubborn to back down, didn't you? Andrew looked at him. Uncle, I'm just having fun with Amanda. I still want to marry Eve, and Amanda knows it's just fun? She says she doesn't want a future just to have you? What a simple girl. James sighed. Andrew scoffed, stubbing out his cigarette. On the way home, I didn't speak. As the car pulled into the villa's garage, Andrew suddenly hugged me, kissed my cheek, his warm lips brushing my dried tears. Eve, do you know? You're the one and only Eve in the world. Sober, independent, resilient, and shining. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone. No one is worthy of you. You're perfect just as you are. He kissed me again, more gently than before, as if soothing my emotions. I didn't push him away. Only feeling surprised, Andrew seemed to truly understand me. When we were breathless, he carried me from the car to his bedroom. I knew what would happen. The one thing James had always wanted but never got, Andrew now had. When I first entered showbiz, I was a nobody, just a supporting actor with no connections or resources. James, who'd been pursuing me, was my biggest fan. Friends said rich boys couldn't be sincere, but James won me over with his dedication. Without an agent, I let him manage me. He worked day and night to get me roles and partnerships. He even started a film company against his family's wishes, making me his lead actress. The night I won Best New Actress, he threw me a grand celebration with fireworks across the city. Under the fireworks, I said yes to his confession. He'd promised to always be by my side for every victory. Now, he'd handed me over to another man. That's how it is. Let's not look back. Let's both move on. On the first day of filming, Andrew accompanied me. No surprise, we ran into Amanda and James again. I was the lead, Amanda the supporting actress. Rumor had it Amanda had begged James to get her the lead, but for some reason, the Zhou family heir had failed. Andrew had canceled all his meetings to stay with me on set for a week. The director, too afraid to offend the tycoon, gave us the best room, but James looked sullen. He pulled Andrew aside. Uncle, you and Eve can't share a room. Stay separate. Andrew replied, why? Because you're sharing a room with your fun girlfriend? James, that's different. Amanda and I are just what? Andrew sneered. Why don't you go tell Eve the truth, that you're supposed to be together, but you pushed her into another man's arms while she was amnesiac, then ran off with her best friend? Would you dare? James fell silent. But Eve loves me. She'll remember everything, and when I apologize and swear I'll never do it again, she'll forgive me. She loves me too much not to. Too late. Andrew glanced at him. You've lost your chance. Start calling her aunt from now on. You! Don't tell me you've already. James seethed. Uncle, you promised you wouldn't touch her, and used to look down on her background. That's your assumption. I never said that. Andrew replied. And you're in no position to judge. You caused this mess, didn't you? James clenched his fists, livid. You might not know, but I've known Eve longer than you. I understand her better, and I've watched her just as closely. You just got to her first. What's done is done. When Eve regains her memory, I'll tell her the truth and ask her to accept me sincerely. You can keep enjoying Amanda's company. Isn't that a win-win? James scoffed. Uncle, I never knew you'd been coveting your nephew's girlfriend all along. Do you think she'll accept you faster or forgive me sooner? I'll break up with Amanda today. I don't care what happened between you and Eve. If I beg her sincerely, she'll come back to me.